minus 50 seconds. T minus 40 seconds. T minus 30 seconds. T minus 20 seconds. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Welcome to the Blue Lounge. Welcome back to the channel. I hope you guys are having a fantastic evening. It could have been better. Unfortunately, we didn't get the 3 points today, but we didn't lose. Decent-ish performance. We're going to get into the game. We're going to get into the match preview today. We're going to also look at transfer news today. There is some updates that have come in over the past hour or so. In regards to Xavi Simons and other players, we're going to be looking at those on today's stream, as well as the match review. Guys, as you're coming in, please smash that like button and please comment in the chat. The more comments you guys put in the chat, the better it is for the stream. So write any random stuff, where you're watching the stream from, what you think about the game. Comment in the chat your thoughts and opinions on the game today, and then we're going to be talking about the transfer market, and then you can also comment your thoughts and opinions on the transfer market. I have got a fantastic panel for you today. It's the regular lads. Yeah, let me show you who they are. Let me show you, in case this is your first stream, let me show you who our panelists are. If it allows me to switch screens, here we go. Lads, welcome. How are you all doing today, boys?
Yeah, good.
Yeah, doing good.
Very good.
Doing good.
Just about.
Brilliant. I know you guys are not as happy as you could be. Especially when you pay for a seat at Stamford Bridge and you don't see a goal list. It can't be that great.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I don't pay for my tickets personally, but I get it. I do get it.
You need to sort me out, mate. You need to sort me out.
No, I do get tickets as you do, home and away. So yeah, it's all good.
Brilliant.
I mean, expectations was also very high. Thinking you're going to see Chelsea banging in goals with all those new signings, and nothing really happened. You really get depressed a little bit.
Yep.
Driving 2 hours.
For the new people watching the stream, let me introduce my panelists. So I've got Sadiq, the bottom right hand corner from Worldwide Chelsea. Next to him, I have Matt from Stanford Sync. On top of Matt, I have Nizayon from Blue Clouds Media, and to his right, I have Kai from Behind the Dugouts. Guys, welcome. Guys in the chat, welcome. Daniel Knight, I see you. Big up to you. Anyone who is not a subscriber can't comment. So make sure you guys subscribe. Wait your 5 minutes and then smash your comment in there. We will try to address your comments today. Wherever possible, we will try to address your comments today. Sadiq, today you were at the bridge. I saw your match vlog. I also saw your post-match stream. The atmosphere wasn't so great today, was it?
It was depressing, man. After all that credit I gave from the 2 preseason games, I said maybe we've turned, the light, and they've gone back to normal. I'm sure from the TV you didn't hear anything. I heard the Palace fans on the opposite side in the shed, and yeah, they outsung us at times as well, which was quite depressing. I just feel like the whole atmosphere was down. Even when Eze scored that goal, which was a fantastic free kick. I haven't seen the replay, of course. I'm sure you guys will discuss about it. Yeah. There's a new law that's favoured us in the VAR. But just the organising was just shocking for that goal personally. So, yeah, all the fans were down. That's all I can say. They were down. It was really that bad.
Yep, yep. Nee, you were streaming. You had a watch along at the time of the game. I got a chunk of it. I watched a chunk of it. But what's your feeling?
Yeah, I'm gonna add what Sadiq just said. Why is it so quiet at Stamford Bridge when the going becomes tough? That is not the nature of supporting. Supporting is to get your voice from beginning to the end. Why are you there? You're there to, even if the goal is not coming, you got to feel the game. Get your voice out there. I've been in a football stadium 1,000 times, and even when the going is difficult, that is when I just get the energy out. It's just jumping and singing, so I can have memories of where I was at this specific date. But yeah, like I said, goals we're expecting. I don't want to go into details right now. I don't know if you want me to go into details in terms of what was not really working. And I don't like when we are trying to pick point fingers at one specific player, which
Mm.
to me, I don't even like because it's a teamwork. Football is a teamwork. If we win, it means that the whole organization, the balance is right. If we're not getting the goal, we're not getting what we want. It means that something is not right somewhere. It means that the whole team, lose together. So, in my point of view, not the kind of opening game I expected in the new season. I expect to see a win, but we forget that this team is the boogie team for Chelsea. Crystal Palace have made things very difficult for Chelsea anytime they meet them, whether home and away. Last season, we drew against Crystal Palace. They just won. They won the FA Cup, won the Community Shield, on the hands of top teams in the Premier League, Manchester City and Liverpool. That should tell you the kind of team you're playing against. Back, they play back three, but you can say back five. So they overload the midfield and make things very difficult for you, which we also maybe we're not that we're not good playing teams that's have a back three, and they are very very good with that formation or their setup. So I'll give them the credit for now.
Yeah, 100%. Not Crystal Palace. They're not an easy side to play. 100%. I'm going to leave Matt to the end. I'll go to Kai. Kai, what's your general opinion of what you saw today?
I don't have much an opinion on what the fans were like. I said Sadiq's got the best view of that because he was at the game. I didn't really hear anything from either side of the fan through the TV when watching. I know myself, I was singing and going crazy, but it's weird because when we look how up for the start of the league, everybody was the energy coming off the back of the Club World Cup going into pre-season. If that is the case, and the fans weren't that up for it, it's a little bit on the disappointing side that 15, 20 minutes into a game, we're not back in the team anywhere. We're not singing anymore because it does play a big part. We talk about the Anfield atmosphere, how much it drives them on. Atmosphere is a big part of the game. We play that 12 man, so we want to push the team on. I won't go too much into detail on my thoughts of the game just yet because I have quite a lot of it. But in terms of getting behind the team, it's game week 1. I mean, we've got 37 more games to play. We were singing praises a week ago. What's changed? Because we've had a little blip on the road now. Everybody's going to revert back to type and have a go at the team. It doesn't make sense. We've got to back this team. We've seen what they can produce. They've gone out and made themselves world champion. Back them more than a game. Back them for the entire season. They've deserved that. They've earned that. So let's get behind them. I don't see why we would be turning already game week. That just doesn't make much sense to me. But I suppose, subjective views for all fans. I guess I can't, say for everybody. I'm going to back them all the way. So I hope everyone would do the same.
Yeah, 100%. And I'm going to follow up on what you just said and address Matt. Matt, we saw Pedro Neto in that game, trying to get the fans more involved. What's your thoughts, man?
It was a really difficult one, man. It was such a sticky, stodgy game of football. Do you know what I mean? And the thing for me is, like, as disappointed as I am from the Chelsea perspective, I think you've just got to give Crystal Palace their flowers, man. Like, they executed their game plan perfectly. And for me, it was like, from the fan point of view, it's been quite common in the last few years, but I think, because things have been so difficult for the last few years, and obviously, yes, we've had really good kind of turn recently and things are looking really good again, but because we didn't see that today, it was probably a little bit like, do you know what I mean? Like, the expectancy was there to make something happen. Do you know what I mean? So that innate disappointment was probably quite difficult to get over. Obviously, like I said, Sadiq will 100% have the best kind of view on what that was like. But from the game point of view, without getting too much into the tactical thing, they took out João Pedro and Cole Palmer from the game pretty much completely. And that just left us with, trying to direct all of our attacks through the wings. And neither of our wingers are particularly prolific high scorers. So I think it was, for me, it was like less of a Chelsea played badly. And we definitely could have done better 100%. But I just think Crystal Palace executed their game plan so well. And we haven't played any stodgy low block teams in any of the games we've played recently. Do you know what I mean? Like, PSG and the Club World Cup games, it was all high tempo football. There was space for us to get involved and kind of be a bit more expansive and stuff. So coming back to hitting the rock bottom that is low block teams in the Premier League is, it's been a sobering process for everyone, I think.
100%. I mean, I want to address the tactics. I want to delve into it a little bit more. I'm going to give you guys my opinion, then I'm going to open it to you guys to discuss. But I think, and this is something that I commented on one of Kai's videos. And by the way, lads, everyone's description, everyone's channel is located in the description down below. So make sure you guys go give him a follow. But when Kai did his match preview, he had João Pedro starting, and I actually commented. I said to him, I think Delap will be starting. He wasn't. He didn't start, and I think this was the game for Delap. I think the way that Crystal Palace played, you needed someone to be able to use his physical presence in attack and win those tough challenges further up the pitch. I think João Pedro wasn't really impactful today, and I think you mentioned Neto and Palmer being out of the game for big chunks. I think Maresca might have not set up the team in the right way for this particular game. I think there were some positives. Josh in the centre back position impressed me. The lad's 19, I believe. Is it 18 or 19? I think it's 19. I think he's 19.
19, I think,
yeah. So him stepping up to fill in some big shoes. He did have some errors, which you can expect, but luckily they didn't lead to any serious blunders in the back. So we kept a clean sheet, which is a positive. That free kick, fantastic free kick by Eze, but it was even debatable whether or not it should have been given in the first place. Regardless, the new rule isn't one that Chelsea made, but Chelsea take advantage, no problem. I think the fans getting low, getting down, and thinking, this isn't what we want, this is what we're expecting. First game of the season, lads. We didn't lose against tough opposition. Let's be serious. I mean, Crystal Palace do have a strong team. They have a strong tactical awareness. When they were defending, they were defending. The low block, parking that bus, man. I mean, seriously, Chelsea find it really hard to break through. Maresca could have used more of the flair type of players, like Estevao maybe should have started. I think Maresca made some mistakes in his selection, personally. But I don't think it's the end of the world. I think, we should be happy. We should be content with the result. And, it's one that we can build on. Not a loss. It's a draw. So, yeah, what do you guys think of the performance? And please feel free to address any players that, that you thought stuck out for you in this game.
Do you mind if I jump in this one first? Because I have a different opinion to Mo.
Go ahead.
If I just go for the lineup, personally, I think Maresca got the lineup spot on. Okay. Reason being is the difference between João Pedro and Liam Delap likes to play in behind and make those runs in behind, where João Pedro technically is great in tight spaces, loves to link up play. When playing in a low block, you're not going to get space in behind. There was no space in behind to operate, so we needed a technical striker that could play in tight spaces, that could potentially link up the midfield and the wingers. The problem we had was Palace's game plan was to congest the midfield, block any balls through the lines to the likes of Enzo, Caicedo and Palmer to nullify their creative abilities in the half spaces, and stop the feeding of João Pedro, because João Pedro barely had any touches. I don't think there was any point where he was linking up with Cole Palmer at all, and if it was getting snuffed out really quickly. Mark Guehi was on him the whole game, stepping out when he was stepping into midfield to pick up the ball, he was on his back. And then what they were doing is they were defending in 2s and 3s. So every time we'd had a player on the ball, there was 2 or 3 players around them, even the wingers. So Maresca was trying to isolate the wingers with the full back like he does. And because they were doubling up, every time Jamie Gittins or Pedro Neto got the ball in the wide spaces, there was 2 players. So even if they were to beat one, they were always taken out by the second player. The biggest problem that we had today, we missed Levi Colwill. We missed his line-splitting passes. The starting out from the back was too slow. Josh Atchempong and Trevor Chalobah are both great ball-carrying centre-backs. They can bring the ball forward. Josh did it so many times today where Mateta was pressing him. He just bypassed him like he wasn't there. Dribbled into midfield. The problem is, once he stepped into that midfield, he had now congested it, so he had Enzo, Caicedo, Mark Cucurella, Cole Palmer and Josh Atchempong all in the midfield with no space to play a pass. Where what we needed was him to sort of stay in that centre-back line and try and play those line-splitting passes that Colwill does so well. And neither Trevor Chalobah or Josh Atchempong were able to play those line-splitting passes to find those players in the space to potentially take a little bit of congestion out of that midfield. So for me, the lineup was good. Although when Delap came on, he showed a lot more than what João Pedro did. But in terms of the idea that Maresca was going with in the fixture, I think tactically it made more sense with João Pedro up front than it would have had Delap, because there was no space for him to run in behind anyway. Gittins, slightly underwhelming. But again, first game in the Premier League, I think physically he struggled, but he's a 1v1 demon, as everyone wants to call him. But if he's not getting the opportunity to go 1v1, that's pretty much his game out the window now. Where Esteval come on, young 17, 18, scrawny little kid who we thought might struggle physically. When there was a position when he was on the right-hand side, he had about 3 players around him and he shrugged them off like they were nothing. So physically, I don't think he's going to have a problem. But what he did do is he injected a bit of explosive pace, which Gittins didn't, but he is quite quick, so it was quite strange. He injected that bit of magic where he beat Mark Guehi down on the right-hand side to get that cross in. If Pedro Neto was a few inches taller, he probably would have scored with the header. And that's what we need from those players coming in. Now, for me personally, if I was to look at West Ham, Esteval has to start because of what he produced and what Gittins didn't produce in this fixture. Again, with the amount of players that we have, Maresca has a lot of tactical options to switch it up depending on what team we face. But I think when we're coming up against low blocks, we are going to see João Pedro start more than Liam Delap, personally, just to negate and have a bit more control, because he wants possession of the ball. And Pedro is going to give you more possession of the ball than Delap will be. But I'd love to know hear you guys' thoughts on those.
Yeah, no, I think you made a really good point. But I also think the theory, good, implementation wasn't so good. And maybe a few more games down the line, João Pedro, Pedro Neto, Palmer, even Gittins, they're still building that chemistry. Our front line is relatively new, and they're still trying to understand each other. This is the first really competitive game that they played together. Some would argue, Club World Cup is a friendly tournament. I think it's a competitive tournament, but even then, it wasn't enough game time for João Pedro with the teams, a couple of games. So I think the theory is right, but the implementation was different. I think Delap, when he came on, He was imposing himself, and he created our best chance in the game. Shot it straight at the goalkeeper, but still was a good chance. Matt, you wanted to come in?
Just
man,
before
yeah,
Matt goes, sorry, Matt. I just want to stress. Obviously, this is game week 1. Like,
Yeah.
of
Yeah,
course,
of course.
this is we don't want to over analyze it. We're just commenting
100%.
on the performance, but it is game week 1. I expect them to by game 6, 7 to be smashing it, but you have to analyze what you've seen on the day. Otherwise, what's the point?
100%. 100%. Go ahead, Matt.
So two things, Willian, Esteval Willian and Delap. So the Delap thing, I'm leaning a little bit more towards Mo's side on this, to be honest. And I understand what you're saying, Kai, like tactically, like 100%. And the thing is, João Pedro's also just scored 5 goals in 5 games. Do you know what I mean? So the form's there, the tactics is there, 100% agree. The thing that Delap gives you, though, is not necessarily a tactics thing. It's a personality thing. Like, he's a bit more of a flat track bully. Do you know what I mean? And when you're up against like a low block and you need a bit of physicality and a bit of unpredictability in terms of, you are right, like about running behind the lines and stuff, but also when he came on, he, not long made the first chance happen. So I do think that although the lineup, maybe he wouldn't have got into the starting lineup, I think maybe Maresca should have brought him on a little bit earlier. And I think that if we are going up against low block teams like this, a couple of times last season, Maresca made half-time changes. Do you know what I mean? And that's the sort of thing that we should be doing, man. If João Pedro gets marked out of a game or his lines get cut off for an entire half, then get him out and try something else, man. Do you know what I mean? He did that last season with centre-backs, for instance. Do you know what I mean? A couple of times the centre-backs got changed at half-time because he didn't like the way they were playing. So I'd be interested to see if he does do something like that when necessary. Ari Esteval, I think Esteval showed something today that very few of our other players do. And it's something I think I would really like to see more. Esteval makes his decision about what he's going to do with the ball before it gets to him. He's got such quick decision making. So even if all he's doing is passing the ball back or passing it to the side, even if he's still just recycling possession and this, that and the other, Esteval has literally made that decision before the ball gets to him. And what I think we see a little bit too much of, is, right, I've got the ball, I'm going to have a little look around and stuff. And when you're playing against a low block team, that gives the defence as much time to organise against you as it does for you to decide where you're going to pass. Do you know what I mean? I think that's one of the reasons why Esteval is that magic. Do you know what I mean? I think a big part of that magic is he just is very reactionary. Do you know what I mean? But it's also, he's thought about it first. For instance, towards the end of the game, it was literally like 90 minutes plus or something. Cole Palmer dropped deep, grabbed the ball, ran into midfield, and then held on to the ball for like 30 seconds. And he turned left and he turned right, and he was desperately looking for somewhere he could put it. And it was, obviously it was too late by that point anyway. But you see a lot of that from a lot of our players, man. The attacking players especially, where Jamie Gittins or a Pedro Neto will get the ball and they'll run it up the byline and they'll get there and they'll be like, okay, I'm here. It's like a dog with a bone, isn't it? It's like they get there and it's like, right, what do I do now? So I think if there's anything that madly a lot of our players could learn from a 18-year-old Esteval Willian, it is be confident in your decision making, man. Do you know what I mean? It's like, even if it is just passing back and recycling possession, I think that that's something we should hopefully see as the team gets, more familiar with each other and all that kind of stuff as well. I would hope that we see a bit more of that in general. And in the first 5 to 8 minutes of the game, I know that's like a really small sample size, but the passing was quicker. Things were happening a bit quicker, and it just got a bit more lethargic as the game went on. And Esteval, for me, is an absolute shining light of, make your decision before the ball gets to you, or be scanning the area, or have an idea of who's around you, and take risks, but calculated risks.
Yeah, I'll make it 2-2. I'll be on Kai's side, and then Nee can give the finale who he goes with. But great points from Stanford Sink, of course.
Thanks, man.
Totally agree with that one as well. I just want to say with Kai, 99% agree with you. 1% I didn't agree with you. I felt like the defenders did try and make those split passes, especially Chalobah. And I put more blame towards Pedro Neto. He looked very tired after like 50 minutes, bro. He was done. He didn't want to run. He didn't want to go on the wing. And I think the issue there is that because Cucurella comes in, there's no overlap. They can't do the 1-2. They can't drive. They can't do nothing. Gittins was stuck. Neto was stuck. And my problem was Enzo Fernandez today. That was my problem today, in my opinion. Like what I saw was when we had the ball on the left side or right side, we didn't get that switch to the other side. We passed it through the defense, and it was so slow. it was so slow that it allowed Palace to get back into position. We couldn't play it through the middle, and even if João Pedro did get the ball in the middle, there's no one running in behind. Cole Palmer's not going to run in behind. He's not that type of player. He wants the ball to his feet, right? So just everything was just a problem. But for me, clearly we do need a winger. I know we got Estevao coming on from the bench and stuff, but I'm telling you now, some of these players just look leggy. They were tired. They were not moving. I saw Pedro Neto not even tracking back at times in the second half, and that's how bad it was. So, Kai, I'm more with you. I do think the lineup was right, but I think it was a bit harsh on the defense. I think the defense tried to do what they wanted to do. I don't think there
It's
was
more so with the same quality that Colwell has. We know 9 times out of 10, Colwell's going to make that line split and pass, where when Achampong and Trevor were doing it, it just seemed to get blocked every single time. So it's more of it's something that they need to work on in terms of creating it, and how much time can we give them before it becomes a problem. Because let's be honest, it's not going to be the only team in the league that we're going to come up that's going to play a low block. It's more often than not, isn't it?
Sure. I mean, we'll talk about Enzo after, but I'll give you the finale, man. Who are you going with?
You guys have taken almost everything. I don't know. I'm trying to filter in and see what I can put it together. I think you guys have really said it all, and I'll talk a little bit about the low block. Low block, it's something that, just like Matt said, it's very suicidal playing against the low block. And I remember there was an incident that happened where the VAR have to review it, and I was like, I hope it's not going to be a red card, because that would make the game more difficult for these guys to play. Low block, they'll end up in their mind, or we've gone the man down. Okay, what do? We have to regroup and make sure there's no space for them to for them to penetrate, because now we're a man down. We got to keep compact. It becomes more difficult. But 11 to 11 or 12 to 12, it means that they open up. 13 to 13 open up, because we have equal side on the field. But this one, I want to go a little bit in individual player, individual ability. I should put it that way. I've seen many games where Chelsea have played low blocks most of the time, but always one player stand out, whether it can be a Pedro, Barcelona Pedro alone, or Eden Hazard taking everything by himself, carrying the team, pushing through that low block. Look at the one against West Ham United. Solo goal destroys everything. I feel like Cole Palmer is not doing enough for his ability. When you look at big name players, we can talk about Neymar. I'm not making a comparison. I'm just trying to say what big name players do on big occasion. Neymar, you can talk about Messi, you can talk about Ronaldo, you can talk about Eden Hazard, which this is one of, I'm using him as this example. When Battle at the Bridge, when the going was tough, what did Hazard do? He did what Hazard has to do. Cole Palmer, I feel like when he's being marked, when they got 2 players on him or a specific player on him, he does the safe work instead of taking the bull. Is that what they say? Taking the bull by the scruff and then upon himself, and then do whatever he has to do. Whether you create penalties or you create fouls in the dangerous area for you to take it, or for somebody a free kick expert to take it, he doesn't do that. He goes the safer way, which I feel like it also affects the team at one point in time. How many times has Cole Palmer missing in big games? João Pedro, sometimes I feel like I don't rate this guy, because he annoys me with his crosses. I've said it many times that it's better you keep him on that left-hand side. When he goes on the right-hand side, he's just useless in that position. And I feel like Estavio Williams, with the few games we've seen so far, I don't want anyone else to tell me that this dude is not ready. He is ready to start games. Better off Pedro Neto. Either we put Pedro Neto on the left-hand side, Gittins, we have to ease that guy in. He's not ready yet. Gittins is not ready, because he is exciting to watch, but the final third, the delivery is the problem. Or either him scoring goals. He said Enzo Maresca told him that coming to the football club, he has to make sure he produce goals and assists for the team. We haven't seen how many assists yet. We haven't seen any goal yet. So there's a lot of work that he needs to do. I feel like if Enzo Maresca can notice this and let him start from the bench, put Pedro Neto on the left-hand side, and put the one that's looking more dangerous in every game, which is Starvey Williams on the right-hand side. If he starts, you take him off in the 70th minute and bring Gittins in, that would be better for him to understand the English game. Because Starvey is showing that he's already understood the game. Thank you.
Thank
So,
you. Lee.
who did you pick? Are you with Kai?
No, he wanted to keep it vague so no one takes the glory.
In Switzerland.
No. Diplomatic. I like it. I respect it. Do you know, Sadiq? You talked about Enzo Fernandez. I think
I was
Enzo
disappointed.
Fernandez-
I was disappointed.
Yeah, I mean, for me, Enzo Fernandez, he can either elevate the team to a great level, or he can, do what he did today. When Santos came on, we saw a little bit more of a threat. Yes, our finishing today wasn't good across the board. Our finishing wasn't very good, but there were elements that were injected by the youngsters, and I say youngsters, I mean our team is all youngsters, but younger youngsters who have a point to prove, and I think that that is something that is pushing them harder. I don't want to say that Cole Palmer is becoming complacent. I think Cole Palmer had a bad game today. I think a lot of the players had a bad game today. However, even with a lot of our players having a bad game today, we still didn't lose the game. So that is a positive. We still did manage to, I want to say, grind out a draw, but we weren't dominated. I think possession-wise, we were 70-30 for the 90 minutes possession. So we were in control of the game for a big chunk of the time, but we were not able to be lethal enough with that possession that we had. And with the 30% that Palace had, they looked a little, they looked more dangerous, because whenever they were approaching our goal, I was thinking to myself, this can go pear-shaped. But I think it's still early. A lot of this, a lot of the times the seasons are not going to be finalized in the first few games, but the first few games will give you a understanding of what needs to be worked on, what needs to be improved on. Gittins is a player that needs a lot of work. I think he has a lot about him, but I think he's going to also take a while to fulfill that. And I think breaking him in slowly is better. And I can't wait for the Garnacho thing to happen and give him and Garnacho that competition, because that will definitely improve our chances on the left-hand side. Anybody want to address any other points in regards to the game? Go ahead. Go ahead.
Before I head out, I want to give Sanchez some flowers today. Obviously, except for the free kick was a bit bad, but his distribution was very good. Even if some of them didn't pull off, I think some of the ideas were great from what I was watching from behind. He wasn't messing around. He was trying to look for the right pass every single time. So I think him, Josh, for me, them two were great today. I'm not sure what you guys think of Sanchez, because obviously a lot of people are against him, and I understand why. But I just think the last 5-6 games I've seen him play, I mean, he's done a normal job. I'm not going to say he's been Buffon level or anything, if you know what I mean. But I don't know if he's still. I don't think he's the right man in for the Chelsea future, of course. But it looks like we are going to stay with him. And Petrovic,
he was played as a sweeper. He was played as a sweeper.
Literally. I don't know what it was. I think today, seeing it in person, it just looked good. So that's what I wanted. And maybe you guys can agree, disagree. But unfortunately, I do have to leave. I've got this back injury, got Tiger Bomb ready as well. So I'm going to go and rest up as well. So, Nii, behind the dugout, Kai, Matt, all you guys, thank you.
Thank you, Sadiq.
Get well soon, brother.
Thank you, man. Take care.
Thank you.
See you guys.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Thank you. Yeah, no, big respect to Sadiq, man. Man's suffering from a neck and back issue, but he still made time to jump on. So big up to him, and thank you for coming on. And lads, go show some love to Worldwide Chelsea content. He's having issues with the YouTube algorithm, so am I. But go check out his videos. Go check out his channel. Much love, much respect to Worldwide Chelsea. Josh, I keep messing up his surname. Can someone help me here?
Achampong.
Achampong. Josh Achampong. I was impressed. I was really impressed, considering the big shoes he's having to fill. And I think the centre back issue will be addressed. I've got a comment here from Machiavelli. Big up to you, my man. It's been a minute. I haven't seen you for a while, so it's good to see you back on the Blue Lounge. He says, guys, we need a centre back or not. What do you guys think? Do you guys think we have enough in our team?
I think West Ham. Or do you want to go first, Nee?
You go ahead. You already got your voice on. Go ahead.
I think it's gonna ride on Fofana. I think that's what it. I think we were gonna see Fofana against West Ham. I thought he might get a few minutes today just to ease him into it, but I think we're gonna see Fofana against West Ham, and if he does all right, because again he hasn't played football for how long, I don't know. If he comes on and he's absolutely terrible, I think they may address it and go out and get a centre back. I feel that we do need to fill the hole that Levi Colwill has left. I thought Josh was superb today. I think he got a lot of stick, which I was quite surprised about from quite a few fans, which I couldn't understand. I don't know if we were watching the same game or not, but I thought he was brilliant for a 19-year-old. I think he locked down Mateta for most of the game. Of course he's going to have mistakes. Name me one player on that pitch that doesn't have a mistake in a game. It's impossible. Did we concede? No. Have we walked away with a clean sheet? Yes. So the defensive unit has done his job, and a 19-year-old centre-back has kept in his pocket one of the top strikers in the league, because Mateta is a good finisher. I think he scored 18 goals last season. He is a top finisher, and he's been held back by a 19-year-old kid. I thought he was superb. There are elements of his game that he needs to improve, but he will improve, as every young kid does. So, do I think we have enough? It will all depend on what Fofana can do when he comes back and how he can stay fit. But the problem will be, and this will happen because it happened in the January transfer window, where we decided to stick with Jackson and Nkunku. The next game got injured, and then we were like, we wish we got someone. It's going to be the same thing. They have a decision to make, and they need to make it soon. If we lose one more centre back, I don't even know how long Tossen's out for. Do we know how? Is it weeks or months?
I think it's just a knock. I think it was.
So he may be back for the
West Ham game.
But if we lose one more centre back, we're going to have a problem, because again, Badiashile needs to come back. He needs to get match fit. We can see that the players, though they looked sharp a week ago against AC Milan, clearly there's something that still needs to be worked on to them to get match ready properly for the intensity of the Premier League. These centre backs that have been injured for a while, I think Badiashile was injured most of the Club World Cup. Fofana's been out for. They need to get match fit. They need to get ready for the intensity again. I think it would be better to go in and get a centre back that is gonna at least provide the gap that Colwill has left. And I think, and for me personally, I think Josh, though he did really well, I much prefer him in the right or the right back role. I think he's much more suited. You saw he made that trap back today when they broke down the right-hand side, and he ran all the way down the right-hand side. Great side tackle, won the second ball. That's what he can do. But he can't really do that in the centre of the park. But yeah, what do you guys think?
This is what I want to say. The question about do we need a centre-back, it looks like we do. But the question, it's not about do we need one. It's about what we have. Are we ready to develop young Achampong at the football club, or are we ready to send him out for somebody else to develop him? That's the question. I said earlier on, beginning of the season, that I'll be very happy if they send Achampong on loan to get developed, not just learning how to play football, but getting more game time. Because I felt like the left back position with Badishile, over there, and Levi Kouwa in that same position with Achampong also who plays on the right hand side. I feel like he will be outnumbered with first choice centre back, which he's gonna have to wait till Carabao Cup and FA Cup to get a game time. I feel like that is what he was going to get, and developing in that manner won't be that quick for him. So the better is for him to either go abroad, or I don't prefer in the Premier League, because he's not going to get game time in the Premier League. He will either he goes abroad where the league will be okay for him, like we saw Mason Mount went to Vitesse, came to Derby. Reece James went to I think Middlesbrough? No, Middlesbrough. Also went on loan. And what was that?
I think it was Wigan.
Wigan
James
Athletic,
wasn't it?
yeah, where he was playing the midfield and playing the centre back at the same. I mean, right back at the same time. So I felt like that is what he needs. But now, looking at the injury of Levi Kouwa, that leaves us with just one natural left centre back, which is Levi Kouwa. Levi Kouwa and Badishile. Badishile is also be out for. So you got these two players there. Or if Levi Kouwa is not there, maybe you're looking at Badishile is the main preferred choice because it's a natural centre back. We're playing a player out of position. He's not a left centre back player, and we're criticizing him that much. That can destroy the player. So my point of view is, are we gonna take our time and develop this player at the club, or are we willing to send him on loan? If so, then we have to bring an immediate left-footed centre back now. But if you're looking at bringing an immediate left-footed centre back, you have to think about spending 60 million. If you're bringing a top of the notch centre back, you're thinking about spending 60 to 70 million. And what if you have Levi Kouwa return in April, right? What are you going to do with the one that you spend 60, 70 million on? Is it going to be a bench? Is it going to be on the bench? It can't be on the bench, right? Just that's why I feel like the club are looking at that angle, trying to juggle through and use what they have until either Badishile leaves somewhere next year before they can think about bringing top centre back into the football club. But yeah, the mistake, everyone can make mistake. That's how this boy can learn. We have to, fan base have to take it easy on him. The more you yell at him at the stadium, it will force him to make more mistakes. Look at that square pass that he made right in the back of I don't know how to explain it. That pass that he made where he went through Crystal Palace play, I think he went to Eze. And if Eze hasn't been that selfish, that ball would have resulted in the back of the net, which can be the mistake from a young 19 years old Joshua Achampong. So I believe that we have to take it easy on this player. For he will make mistake, but he will get better. I think we'll be fine in the next game. We will be fine because the back three that makes things so difficult. But then we're not gonna meet the back three again. Back four, which things can open up for our players to get more goals. So we should take it easy. We should just take it easy. We don't need one. To conclude, what I'm saying is, we don't need a centre back, a new centre back, unless you're going for an average centre back who is similar to Achampong or a little bit ahead of Achampong. You can spend 30 million or 40 million. But if you want the top 70 million, that's way too much to be on the bench when Levi Kouwa returns.
I actually don't agree with most of that, unfortunately, man. I'll try and explain why, though. So I think if I'm being completely honest, Maresca has come out in the last few days and has put it in very simple terms, black and white, about the centre-back situation, right? So we're not looking for a left-sided centre-back. Chalobah can play that left-sided centre-back role. So because we drop into a back three when we're in attack, as Kai was saying earlier, and you know he said it in his match review, and he said it today. It's like what we're looking for is that centre-back who can play these line-splitting passes.
Matt, let me interrupt you for 1 second. Achampong today actually said that was the role that was asked of him from Maresca.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is, yes, we should be developing Achampong. I 100% agree with you, Nee. We should be developing Achampong, but developing Achampong isn't throwing him in to be the guy that plays that position in lieu of Levi Colwill not being there, because it's too much pressure, and too much pressure at that early stage can actually hamper your development. And if he doesn't play well, and the fans, like you say, if the fans get really in on him and he gets dropped because he's not playing that seat, Achiampong can't be the answer right now. Tosin might have to be the answer for a lot of this season, but in answer to your question of what happens if we buy a player at 60, 70 mil or whatever, and when Levi Colwill comes back, mate, it's Tosin that goes. It's not, do you know what I mean? Levi Colwill's going to get game time one way or the other. It's not Levi Colwill that's got to worry. Badiashile will, if we get another centre back, one of Badiashile or Tosin will be on their way out, and I think it will probably be Badiashile. But if Tosin stops getting game time, he'll probably want to leave as well. So, yeah, I think Maresca literally painted it in black and white. I saw these tweets from Fabrizio Romano, man. He came out and said, we tried Badiashile in that central role for 45 minutes in the Conference League final. We were losing 1-0. We changed it to Levi Colwill and we won 4-1. Wesley Fofana also got tried for 45 minutes in that role, and Enzo Maresca literally said it's one of the worst halves we've ever had. Literally, he said that it was awful. So I think that Wesley Fofana comes in and Tosin goes out. And I think if we buy somebody else to depth for Levi Colwill now, whoever that is, stays, and Badiashile or Tosin are the ones that go, man. So, and the other thing as well, I mentioned this last time in regards to what happens when Levi Colwill comes back in April. Levi Colwill was not playing first team football consistently for the rest of this season, even if he comes back in April. We have seen Reece James come back. We have seen Lavia come back. We are just about to watch Wesley Fofana come back, and these guys are going to be brought in slowly, carefully. 45 minutes here, 45 minutes here, 30 minutes at the end of a game, a cup game here and a cup game there and whatever. And we've just seen it with Reece James. Last season is the first season in like the last 3 seasons that we've nearly had a full season out of Reece James. Before that, it was, he's been out injured for ages, but we really need him. So we bring him back in and we throw him back into the game. And he's pulled his hamstring again. And now we've lost him for another 3 months. Do you know what I mean? So ever since Maresca's come in, he's been so careful. And I do not expect that trend to change with Levi Colwill, right? Levi Colwill is not going to come back in April and be a first teamer. It's absolutely not going to happen. If we're lucky, we see 10 to 15 games from Levi Colwill after April when he comes back, if we're lucky. But yeah, man, I think the centre-backs, like I say, Josh Achiampong, he can be that player. He can be, as Mo said, okay, maybe he is being trained up to be another one of those who can play that middle role with the line splitting passes, but we can't put that pressure on him right now because that could actually hamper his development. And I actually think we do need to go in for someone, because what Maresca is coming out and saying is, I don't rate any of these guys, and I'm not going to lie to you, they all know that now as well. Do you know what I mean? So there is tension starting to build. This is the first problem that I've seen Maresca potentially start to have with the brass, right? With Bluco, the directors, whoever's buying the players in, because they will have had a conversation privately. And when Levi Colwill got injured, and Maresca will have said, we need to get someone else. I need someone for this role. And they've gone, no, we think you're fine because you've got all of these centre-backs. So then he's coming out in his press conferences and saying, I desperately need this player because Wesley Fofana cannot play that role. Badiashile cannot play that role. Levi Colwill is out. Now Tosin, and he's kind of proving the point that we need another centre-back, because without having Tosin here today, Josh Achiampong's being asked to play this absolutely critical role that he doesn't have a huge amount of experience in, because Maresca doesn't rate any of the other guys we've got on our books. So it might be a 60, 70 mil centre-back. Maybe a Hincape, or there's a lad called Castello Lucaba as well, who looks pretty good. Another young player from France who's, young, left-footed, good passing or whatever. But we're not looking for that left-sided centre-back. We're looking for a centre guy. And I do think that if we lose the game against West Ham, or if we draw again, I think we'll go out and get one.
I agree with what you said 100%, but I want to add one more thing to it. We have an option to get a player on loan. We don't actually have to go in the market and buy a player. I mean, if we are in the mindset where we don't want to be what's the word here, overstocking in defenders or increasing our squad size, we could go out there and get a player on loan. Not sure who's available for a loan right now.
That's the thing. It's the caliber of player that you would get for loan. That's the only thing.
Especially at this stage of the transfer market, I don't think there is that many options there. But Maresca has said it, in black and white, and he wants another defender. That is his position, and I think Matt, you got it spot on. We don't actually have to sell Colwell once he's fully fit. We can look at the other options, and we have got a lot of defenders that we are looking to sell right now. Regardless of the whole Colwell situation. That being said, I think in respect to Colwell coming back from his injury with an ACL, Colwell will not be ready or will not be back to current form or form before injury until I believe midway through next season, because ACL does take a hell of a lot out of you. You will need to improve your strength again. You will need to get back into shape again. And you can't put that pressure straight away. It's going to take time. And all we have to do is look back, moving off the Sheik, where he was before his injury and how long it took him to get back into, full level, full form. It's not easy. So, buying a player might not be, a bad idea. It might just mean we have to, do a little bit of a shuffle, maybe next transfer window, if that.
It's not even just fitness though, as well. It's psychologically, because we saw what
Psychologically,
Ruben
yeah.
Loftus-Cheek was like. He would not
Yeah.
go in for those big challenges anymore because he was
Yeah.
worried that he was going to pick up the same injury, and it could be the same. You don't know what type of player is going to come back in Levi Colwill after this injury. That's the thing.
100%.
You just don't know.
100%.
great point.
I want to go into a little bit of a diversion. So we are now going to talk a little bit about the transfer market. A tweet from Fabrizio Romano. I'm going to show you. He tweeted it a few minutes ago, and I also have the clip that relates to this particular tweet. Just bear with me. I'll try to get it on the screen. I've got an issue here. What's going on? Okay, so let me add scene. Right, we can look at it this way because I want to make sure we keep the panelists in the picture. So Fabrizio Romano tweeted, Chelsea keep working on Kunku and Jackson exit. Premier League clubs and AC Milan are informed on Jackson's situation. Nothing advanced yet. In Kunku and Bayern, talks continue while there is still no agreement. Xavi Simons waiting for it. I'm going to show you the video that relates to this particular tweet. Let me bring this up. It's going to look like we're talking with Fabrizio. Here we got Fabrizio on the panel, lads. We got Fabrizio on the panel. All right. I'm hoping this doesn't lag. If it lags and there's no audio, let me know straight away in the chat so I can try to fix it for you people. All right.
Okay.
Because we can't on the panel we can't tell, but in the chat, because on the panel we're gonna hear it. But in the chat, if you can't hear it, let me know straight away so I can try and fix it. Because last time I played a video for like 2 minutes before anyone ever said anything. So if you can't hear it, let me know. Or if it's too low, let me know. Here we go. Oh, it's buffering. It's buffering. Not a good sign. Not a good sign. Oh boy. Right. I don't think this is gonna work. Courtney, you still can't hear it?
No, I can't hear it. I can't hear it. I'm on YouTube right now. I can't hear it.
It's working on YouTube?
I'm on YouTube. I can't hear anything.
You can't.
Yeah, I can't hear
All right,
nothing.
hold on.
I can't hear it either.
Hold on. Let
Yeah, me
me
neither.
all right. Let's have a look. So
You may think it's loaded a bit, so you should play from beginning.
Yeah, no, it's loaded. I think I just need to change the way I'm gonna. So if I click on this, it should work now. All right. Tell me if you guys can hear it.
Try to find a solution for some players before bringing
Yeah.
in new ones. You know that since July I've been telling you about this situation. First of all, keep an eye still on Nicolas Jackson, because Jackson is expected to leave Chelsea. The decision is
All right, it's not gonna work. I don't think it's gonna work. Let me stop this.
Bye, Fabrizio.
Yeah, no, it's I don't know what it is. It's just this program kind of doesn't like when I share video and audio. All right, I'll tell you I'll tell you what he actually just said in. I need to remove this. It's not allowing me to remove it. Let's go back to this. Sorry, lads, technical difficulties. I do apologize. We're good. We're good. All right, so let me tell you what Fabrizio Romano actually says in that. Oh, it's come back. It doesn't want to go away. I'll just leave it on the screen. So Fabrizio Romano, lads, he is talking about the whole development of the Nkunku situation with Bayern Munich. So Bayern Munich right now don't want to buy Nkunku flat out. They're trying to work out a deal where there is a obligation to buy that is triggered after an option to buy clause is met. So they will pay X amount of money. They will have him on a loan. If he fits certain criteria, then that option to buy will then become automatically into an obligation to buy. The issue here is that, let's say, if he plays 20 matches, then it becomes obligation to buy. They could play him for 19. Okay, and then give themselves the option where they don't actually have to go ahead and make that transaction. Chelsea are adamant that they want a permanent resolution. So I think an obligation to buy without any restrictions might be a loan deal that Chelsea could agree to, but with a restriction on games and whatnot, I don't think Chelsea will agree to that, and that's what Fabrizio Romano confirms in that clip. There is other interest in Nkunku, but it looks like Nkunku had actually agreed terms with Bayern Munich back in January. So he was keen to go in January, but they never actually came through with a substantial offer. And yet he's still here. The sale of Jackson and Nkunku are paramount for the transfer of Xavi Simons, emphasized by Fabrizio Romano. Not necessarily the case for Garnacho, but for Xavi Simons. I think there may be an issue in regards to the positions of these players. So Nkunku, the position he fills is what Xavi Simons will be filling. Nicholas Jackson, different type of scenario, but also a big money transfer is sought after by Chelsea Football Club. So that is where we are in regards to this deal. Xavi Simons' deal is on hold until this goes through. My issue is, what if this doesn't go through? What if we can't offload Nkunku and Jackson? Because there's no guarantees in this transfer window, and the time is running out. We've got 11 days left for this window to conclude. If these deals don't go through, we'll miss out on Xavi Simons. But it's like Garnacho is a different issue. Garnacho's. Let me share this with you. I'm going to try and share something. If I just, so if I was to go to this screen, and I'll try and share with you. this tweet. So it's a tweet from earlier today, Fabrizio Romano. The portrait of Alejandro Garnacho vandalized outside Old Trafford as he has decided to join Chelsea. Garnacho does not have a future at Manchester United. It's done. So that is where we are in regards to the update from Fabrizio Romano for Garnacho, Xavi Simons. I want to hear what you guys have to say in respect to this transfer. Do you guys think the Xavi Simons deal is going to happen, especially when it's linked so closely to Jackson and Kunku? Because one day we have all this positivity from Fabrizio Romano, David Einstein, Ben Jacobs. The next day it's all about if this doesn't happen, that's not going to happen. Where do you guys sit on the spectrum?
Can't hear you very well, Mo.
You guys hear what I said, or do you want me to repeat it?
Yeah, because it sounded like your voice went out for a bit.
I was saying, where do you guys sit on the spectrum of this Xavi Simons deal happening? Do you think it's going to happen? Do you think if the Jackson deal stalls, will we still be able to sign Xavi Simons? I mean,
I think
it's
it will
looking
happen,
unlikely.
I think it's the Xavi Simons deal is maybe going to go down to the wire, and I think that might be because the Nkunku deal goes down to the wire, and I think that might be also because the Jackson deal goes down to the wire. So I think we've kind of backed ourselves into this corner where we want too much money for Jackson, so people aren't throwing bids in for him. Do you know what I mean? I think he's going to end up going to Newcastle because you've only got to see they started Anthony Gordon up front the other day to see, all right, they need a striker. Isak's not playing for them. Do you know what I mean? I think they'll either end up with Watkins and Jackson will go to Villa, or Jackson will go to Newcastle. But I think that will happen. But I don't think anyone wants to pay 80 million for Nicholas Jackson. And I'm not going to lie to you. I think if we had been willing to sell him for 60, if that had been the price that we were putting out, I think we'd probably have sold him already. And Nkunku, it's like 35 million, isn't it, that they're talking about? And like you say, they want to structure the deal. I don't think we should accept some weird obligation to buy if he buys 20 Snickers from the local supermarket or whatever. Do you know what I mean? I think that is going to... We're going to put them in the same situation that we were just in with Sancho and give them, like you said, maybe it gets to 19 games, or maybe there's actually a get-out clause where it's like, oh, no, we said there was an obligation to buy, but here's 5 mil and we'll just send them back to you. I think we do need to get him off our books. I think it's not even just about the money. It's about the team harmony in the dressing room. The players that are playing and that are training and that are in the first team aren't going to be super happy and comfortable with the idea of your Nicholas Jacksons and your Christopher Nkunkus and your Carney Chukwuemeka's being in a bomb squad somewhere, just being unhappy. Do you know what I mean? Same sort of situation we had with we didn't loan Ben Chilwell right up until the back end of the, we actually kept him for that first 6 months, didn't we? And then when we ended up loaning him, I think those are mistakes that we're going to just try and avoid again. I think the Nkunku thing, I think we'll probably just end up taking the losses on these players, man. We're doing all right for money. I think that's when it comes down to it. And if what we're really talking about here is arguing over like 30, 35 mil, don't get me wrong, I know that's a lot of money, but we haven't even signed a sponsor yet. And if we're in the Champions League, do you know what I mean? So if we got a sponsor, we could afford to take a 30 mil combined loss on Jackson and Nkunku. Do you know what I mean? So I think it just benefits everyone for him to go, but I do not think that Chelsea will just do that. I think they both could be, all three of these deals could be like deadline day deals. And it's the same kind of thing that Man United are doing with Garnacho right now, isn't it? It's like, we'd have already bought him. If they'd have been like, yeah, you can have him for 30, 35 mil, we'd have been like, sweet, thank you very much, we'll take him. But they dropped it from 70 to 50. We're probably in the mid to high 40s at the moment, and we've got a price in our minds that we don't want to pay for this player. So I think we've only got to look at how we're negotiating with a club for a player that they don't want to see how we're going to negotiate with clubs for players that we've got that we don't want, that they're trying to get as well. Do you know what I mean? I think it's all swings and roundabouts, man. But I think the Xavi Simons deal will happen. He's supposedly, unless this is all, just falseness from Romano and whatever, but he keeps coming out and saying Xavi only wants Chelsea. It was the same with Moises Caicedo. He turned down Liverpool when they came in with that bid because he only wanted Chelsea, and they're all being sold the project and stuff. So yeah, I do think the Xavi Simons deal will happen, but I think it hinges, like you say, on these other deals that will probably go down to the wire because we're just being quite stingy about negotiating now, for the ins and the outs.
I think one of the things that leads me on the negative side of the Xavi Simons deal being completed, look at the players that we want to sell in Nicholas Jackson and Nkunku, all of those. They're not playing. Xavi Simons is still playing. There is a big chance that he could pick up an injury. Then that's his move done. Yeah. Why, if Leipzig are looking to sell this player for a considerable fee, they want to try and make as much back as they did for what they bought him, why would you be playing the asset that you're going to sell? We already know that Chelsea are interested. We are there. We're knocking on the door. We want him in the side. So they don't need to put him on display to get suitors. We're there. We want to pay.
They haven't replaced him yet, though. Is that because they are waiting to sell him to bring
Yeah, well,
someone
they were
in?
going in for Harvey Elliott, weren't they? And that hasn't really materialised. But you wouldn't be playing that asset knowing that you could injure him, potentially ruin any deal that was going to happen. That's the only thing that
I think it helps in the negotiations, though. It's like we're not desperate to sell him. If he stays, he's still going to play. And I think he was putting his team in a corner. Taking him off his bio, liking certain tweets, mentioning certain things. He was putting RB Leipzig in the corner. I'm leaving. I'm going. I'm done. I think he missed one preseason game as well. And him doing that was putting pressure on RB Leipzig. I think now RB Leipzig is saying to him, "You're going to play. This deal is out of your hands. If Chelsea put in the right price, the right bid, you're gone. If not, you're in the squad. You're part of the team. You're going to play." And I think that is strengthening their hands, while Chelsea leaving out Nkunku and Jackson is weakening our position, because now clubs know these guys want to go. They're not happy. If they're not, if they're going to come in to make their offers, Chelsea need to sell. They want to sell. They have to sell. We've put ourselves in a little bit of a bad position here. I think in regards to business sense, we're talking about Clear Lake Capital. They're business minded. They have a good strategy, etc., etc. But this isn't really looking too good right now.
Leipzig only bought Xavi Simons in January as well. I know he's been there for 2 seasons, but they actually only paid for him in January. So they,
Correct.
that's going to strengthen their resolve as well, isn't it? It's like we've just
Correct.
paid 50 mil for you very recently, so you will go when we say you can go.
He was on a loan deal, and I think had they have bought him before, they'd have had to pay. PSG would have had to pay PSV a certain amount. So they didn't make that sale until that agreement had expired, and that's when they actually sold him to Leipzig to make sure that they didn't pay PSV that certain amount. And
he was only ever on loan at PSV though. He was a La Masia academy product from 16, and then he went to PSG. He was Barcelona youth product. Then he went bought by PSG when he was 16. Okay. Went on loan to PSV, then came back to PSG, then went on loan to Leipzig. So he's been a PSG player since he was 16.
Okay,
up until 6 months ago.
From what I read, the reason why it was a loan is because they would have to pay a certain amount or a certain percentage of that fee to the owner club, the mother club that they actually bought him from, or like a selling clause that they would have had to have paid, and that's why they put him on loan until that selling clause expired. It was time restricted. Regardless, the point I'm trying to make is clubs would actually do what it takes to save themselves money. So if we loan Nkunku with a obligation to buy if he's played, example, 20 matches, they'll play 19. they would do what it takes to keep themselves in control of the deal rather than putting the control into someone else's hands. But are you guys still confident that this deal is going to go through? I mean,
On the whole, the Simmons one, yeah, I think it's going to be, and it's also
Kai,
we're talking about a
Kai,
little bit of money, don't we?
Kai,
I-
it's not the Simmons deal that I'm worried about. It's the Nkunku deal that is linked to the Simmons deal. So if this goes through,
It's all hand in hand, though, isn't it?
Exactly. So do you guys think Bayern Munich are actually going to do this? Because Nkunku has got his heart set on Bayern Munich, just like Xavi Simmons got his heart set on Chelsea. So if a player doesn't get what he wants, a player can refuse to go, and it literally is.
Munich need to replace Musiala.
Yeah,
They need to bring in someone, and Nkunku would be a reasonable addition for that role. Not exactly the same type of player, but can do the job. And we know that he's done what he's done in the German league. That's why we bought him originally. So they know that he can do it. And it's not the first time Bayern Munich have sniffed around Nkunku. They've been doing it for years. So they do need to replace Musiala. I think it's just like Matt says, it's going to go down to the wire, A, because of the price, and because Chelsea don't want a loan. They want to get as many of these bomb squad players off the books, not just to get the fee in, but also to get their wages, because he's another player that's on big wages. So they need to get it off.
To me, with the Xavi Simons move, I don't really care right now. I feel like we have enough. We have enough. With like Garnacho comes in, Xavi Simons comes in. With what we have already, I think we can juggle through the season. But I feel like one more, winger will do. But whether Xavi Simons come in or it doesn't come in, I'm not one of the fans who are so happy and so excited with the Xavi Simons or Garnacho move. Garnacho, I know what I can get from him, but Xavi Simons, I'm not. That's why I'm not really. I'm not saying I'm not happy for the move, but I'm not really overhyped that. Oh yeah, Xavi Simons got to move. He has to come to Chelsea. He has to make the move, whether it comes or not. I'm not worried. So. I don't even know who to believe anymore. Einstein comes in, and then Fabrizio Romano every day. I don't even listen to Fabrizio Romano anymore. When I see, hey, there we go, an update on Xavi Simons, I just
so are you saying you're not watching my shots? You're not watching my shots?
You know I do. You know I do. But him per se comes in with any tweet, I don't pay attention. But your video, we know what we are talking about. Videos, I do. You can tell I've been dropping likes on it all the time.
Man.
I see you.
Yeah.
No, listen. In regards to Fabrizio Romano, I have to admit, I think he is less. I don't want
Less
to
credible than he used to be.
Yeah. I feel like there's an agenda behind his reporting. While before he was reporting for the sake of reporting the news. Now it seems like he's trying to push a certain narrative and trying to highlight a certain thing, and if it doesn't happen, it looks a bit
Club
silly.
briefs are quite big in this day and age, isn't it? Especially with our club in particular, they like to push out briefs quite regularly, and whether he is or not, we'll never know the full truth. But if there's going to be anybody that the club are going to try and push to get out this information, it's going to be one of the most influential journalists out there. They're not going to go to a nobody. They're going to go to the big names to say, can you push this for us? And yeah, I think especially this window, his reporting has changed. Where it was, you'd get the news and then you'd get the here you go. Now you get 20% loading. It's a 50% almost done. Oh, there's been a little hiccup along the way. It's now only 30%. I mean, I just want to know what's happening and if it's happened, not how much percentage is in between, or they need to have they need to be taken out for dinner before they can sign the contract. I don't care about that. I just want to know when it's finished.
I don't like this clickbait situation where they have to post on a daily basis to get those clicks, to get those likes. So I know they're trying to make money. I know it's a job for them, but as a journalist, you have got you're losing your credibility. It's like it's hard, and it's hard for people like us trying to make content on reports where we're literally just, oh, Fabrizio Romano said it's almost done. They're
But I
later
suppose
on.
they have to
Fabrizio Romano
they're
said
here.
push
it's
the news, don't they?
almost
Even if
done.
it's
They're
But
here.
there is
The "Here we go" is still credible, though, isn't it? That's the thing.
Yeah, the
It's
here we-
like you
yeah.
can
no.
you can just.
It is not.
Is it not?
It is not. It is not. It is
Well,
not.
he's had a few back
The
ones, hasn't
amount
he?
of times he said, "Here we go." He said, "Here we go" for Hakim Ziyech to PSG. Do you guys remember that? We had a "Here we go" Hakim Ziyech to PSG.
Yep, we did. I
Deadline
remember.
day didn't happen.
We-
We've had a whole bunch of them.
Yeah. Okay.
His "Here we goes" are not what they used to be.
Just
Um,
just like you said, Mo, it's affecting his credibility. Where I feel like he always wants to be in the limelight, where everyone, Fabrizio said this one tweet every day. Fabrizio Romano has taken Alejandro Garnacho's tweet. It's like every 2-3 hours he tweets it. He rephrase it and put the same thing there, change a few words that will make it look like a new update. But same thing over and over again. When David Ornstein put something out there, what's his name, Ben Jacob, another checkbook, guy, who also put something out there once, and that is it. David Ornstein once, that is it. And when they update different from what he put up 2 days ago, then he put that up on on his platform, and everybody takes it. I see people taking Ornstein's tweets more seriously than Fabrizio Romano. They feel like this guy is just doing it for the money, but not the interest of journalism.
Ornstein, Ornstein when he tweets, it's normally based on new information.
Right.
Fabrizio Romano will have information that he's got 3-4 days ago, and he'll keep running with it until he gets the new bit of information, and then he'll start cycling that for another 3 days. Einstein will take that information, post on it, wait for an update. Ben Jacobs is also falling down the same rabbit hole that Fabrizio Romano has fallen into. He's starting to do the same thing. I heard, I think it was Matt, a few days ago on your video, you were asking about which sources do people use in regards to reporting. I think you talked about Football Transfer as being a source.
Yeah,
footballtransfer.com. Yeah. No, don't. I mean,
Yeah.
footballtransfers.com, they get information.
I mean, that was the Trevor Chalobah loan to Inter story, so I
Yeah,
already didn't think
yeah.
it was very credible. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. They report on information that they hear, but it depends which is the source of they hear the information from.
It's like second-hand information,
Second-hand.
third-hand information. Do you know what I mean? I
People
actually
like
really want to
Romano.
round off on the Xavi Simons thing before we get too far away from it, because that.
I'm going to come back to it. I'm going to come back
Are you
to it.
coming back to it? Yeah, sweet.
And I'll let you kick us off on it.
Yeah, cool.
Fabrizio Romano and Ben Jacobs, Einstein, their source of information is either agents or clubs, and people who work within that circle. So the information normally has something behind it. It's not, it's not coming out of thin air. The tier 2, tier 3 journalists, they take it from, different sources. Maybe, a guy who does the grass at the training ground, or the garden or whatever. So their sources are not as credible as the agents or the clubs. But Matt, go ahead. You wanted to say something about Xavi Simons? Go ahead, mate.
Yeah, I thought I was kind of coming back to what Nee was saying about him. I actually find it interesting. So again, Neil, I actually disagree with you, but it's based on something that you said earlier as well. So I know you might you're not hyped for Xavi Simons, right? And I get that. And I'm not like hyped. I'm not like, oh, I'm so excited. But I think there is something staring us right in the face that will be really good about Xavi Simons. And it's competition for Cole Palmer, man. Is Esteval can play in that 10. Yes, I know that he's versatile, but he's been brought in to be that rotational, mostly that right wing side, and maybe he gets the odd spot in the 10. Cole Palmer, there's other situations like this in our squad. Look at the whole Jackson situation, man. Jackson had zero competition basically for 2 years at our squad. Christopher Nkunku, lost that battle very, very quickly. Do you know what I mean? Really, really quickly. And Jackson has been the preferred striker for Pochettino, and he was the preferred striker for Maresca last season as well. And without any competition, you've got no one to push him. Do you know what I mean? And what you kind of said earlier about Cole Palmer is Cole Palmer starting to get complacent? Do you know what I mean? Is he starting to, not be that Cole Palmer we saw in the first season kind of thing. And I think that to get the best out of a player, like I always think about, do you remember Higuain and Benzema at Real Madrid? Benzema won that battle and became one of the best strikers in the world. Do you know what I mean? City used to do it quite a lot as well. Sergio Aguero had so many different strikers brought in to provide him with competition, and he won every single time up until he left the club. Do you know what I mean? So I think I was actually really excited when Liam Delap was signed before we went in for João Pedro, because I was like, oh, mate, finally some competition for Jackson, and maybe we'll see something different out of him now. I think we need that with Cole Palmer, man. I think Cole Palmer needs to have the thing in his head that if he's had a game like today that we really needed to win and he got the full 90 minutes, he's just thinking, it's all right, I'll get another chance in a West Ham game next week, because who else is he going to put there? Do you know what I mean? You're not going to start Esteval Willian in that spot right now. You might start him on the right, but, you're not just going to, Cole Palmer in his head at the moment, he's not like, oh, I'm worried about that guy coming and taking my spot. Xavi Simons, whatever we say about his, attitude or whatever, has a massive personality, was a La Masia Barcelona product. The reason he went on so many loans is because he complained about not getting game time in a PSG that contained Neymar, Mbappe, and Lionel Messi. So he really, really thinks a lot of himself, and he really, really backs his talent. Now, maybe that causes problems. Maybe that is something that pushes Cole Palmer to be even better. Do you know what I mean? And competition.
Matt, let me add this to it real quick. I think it was also being mismanaged by Mino Hayula, when at that time he was being mismanaged by that guy.
Who was, sorry?
Xavi Simons. It was being mismanaged by him. Always.
Yeah. Well, there was talks about his entourage and stuff, but I've also read loads of reports about Xavi Simons being a really big character and really backing himself. And at the end of the day, like he got 20 assists at 18 years old in PSV. Do you know what I mean? So from a really young age, he backed himself to go to PSG and get in their team at 18. And that's the reason why he went on loan in the first place. What do you expect
if you've been signed by Nike? What do you expect if you've been signed by Nike at that time, at that age? 16
well, yeah, exactly, man. Yeah,
12 years old or something like that. Yeah,
that only supports my point. Do you know what I mean? Is like I don't think it would be a terrible thing at all to get a player in who is going to back himself to not just play with Cole Palmer, but push him for that spot as well. And like I said, man, we've seen it with Benzema and Higuain and Aguero and the myriad strikers that he had to compete with over the years. Do you know what I mean? These kind of competitional situations can create really, really good players. Look at we had rotational, but we had Willian and Pedro always swapping around on that right wing and constantly pushing each other, because no one was pushing Eden Hazard out of the way, but Willian and Pedro kept on getting better and better and better in a Chelsea shirt when they were here, because they were both there to compete with each other. So I just, like I say, man, I think that if anything, you don't have to be hyped to think that Xavi Simons is going to be the guy that comes in and makes all the difference and stuff. I think just having a big character who has really, really good numbers throughout his career for a very, very young player who obviously backs himself, that is a kind of guy you want in and around your squad, even if it's a little bit problematic sometimes.
Yeah, competition is healthy, and it's going to provide another outlet for Maresca to use, which is what you need. I mean, if we had him on the bench today, he probably would have been coming on in the 60th, 70th minute to try and produce something. We don't know what he's going to do. You don't know that with any player that's coming into the squad, but to have him as an option to push Cole Palmer, it just makes so much sense. It's just annoying that it's taken about 3 years to get done.
Yeah. He's different as well. Do you know what I mean? He's like, Cole Palmer is a goal scorer. I know he's creative and provides assists and that as well, but obviously the thing we love about Cole Palmer is his finishing, and you can kind of create something out of nothing. Xavi Simons has majoritively, not always, last season for instance he scored more than he assisted, but throughout his career he's proven to be a very capable provider, a creative provider, like an assister. We haven't really had anyone like that since Cesc Fabregas, and before that Juan Mata. Do you know what I mean? These kind of players that are really honed in and focusing on getting the best out of the people around them. Xavi Simons can score goals and can make something happen out of nothing, but other than last season, what every other season in professional football he's had us told you about him is that he's a really, really good provider. And he, Cole Palmer might benefit at playing with him at the same time. Esteval Willian might really benefit. And you've got to think, if he can put balls on a plate for Liam Delap and João Pedro, man, in situations like today where we're up against a stodgy, very difficult low block, and what we need is not just someone who can dribble through every single player on the pitch. It's someone who can find that pass that nobody else could find, just like Fabregas used to be able to. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, man, I'm not hyped as in like, oh, I desperately think he's the absolute guy that's going to change a team, but I 100% see why I think he'll be valuable for the team, and I 100% think it will get him, and we'll probably end up losing out money, like I said before, on Jackson and Nkunku in order to make it happen at the end of the window. But yeah, man, I think it will happen.
All right, fantastic, lads. We are done for the evening. 1 hour 24 minutes. I think we're stretching it every stream.
Yeah.
That being said. No, it's brilliant. That being said, next Sunday will be a longer stream than usual because it's the night before the transfer deadline. Transfer deadline day is Monday, so Sunday stream will be the night before the transfer deadline day. So we will probably have a lot of news to discuss on that day. I'm expecting. A lot of deals to be happening on that weekend. We are playing on Friday against West Ham. May do an evening stream on Friday night. I don't know if you guys are available. Matt, Kai, any? Would you guys be available?
I'm
Friday,
not, man.
Friday evening.
I actually don't think I'm going to be available next Sunday either. I've got quite a stacked week this week.
Okay. All right. Well, we will be streaming, but we may have to shuffle the panel a bit. Might get some new guys in. We will be live on Sunday evening. It's penciled in, but I want to ask you guys to do me a favor. Make sure you are following Kai at the Behind the Dugout, Matt Stanford Sink, and Nee on Blue Clouds Media. Make sure you go check out Worldwide Chelsea as well. Big up to him, and thank you all for being here. Mikhail, Courtney, Daniel, Dan, God of Frogs, RC. Let me see if I don't want to miss anyone. Chelsea Dan. Big up Machiavelli. Big up to everyone. Thank you all for taking part. We will see you for the next stream next weekend, and make sure you catch my updates as and when they come out. Have a good evening. I hope you guys enjoy your working week starting tomorrow. Take care. Have a good night. Stay safe.
Thanks, Mo.
Peace.
You guys enjoy the rest of the evening.
Bye-bye.